Welcome to the reselling bathroom, where I'm going to be showing you how to clean shoes, both sneakers made of synthetic materials and leather, with basically the same process. And it's pretty quick, pretty easy. And it mostly relies on this product. It's Angelus shoe cleaner. This is the big industrial size bottle that I got off of eBay. You can get them in smaller bottles as well if you just want to test the stuff out, but it's kind of a miracle cure for shoe grime, and I'll show you how to use it. So let's start with these. These are a personal pair of shoes that I go walking in, and the light isn't great, but they're really grimed up. This midsole, as you can see, is pretty gross. I do my cleaning in a sink. I would do it in a yard with a hose, but I don't have a yard or a hose. So it is a little bit gross, but you just sterilize the sink afterwards and it's fine. For synthetic shoes, I just use a little bit of this in a bowl. I have a metal mixing bowl that I got from a thrift store for pretty cheap. Just pour a little bit of this in here and do about, I don't know, half and half, or 1 part cleaner to 2 parts water. We'll foam up a little bit. And I just do that to preserve the longevity of that bottle, because it doesn't have to be super concentrated if you're able to scrub with water on synthetics, which you're not able to do on leather. That's a very important note. So I use this disgusting old gym towel for this purpose. And it's really simple. You just dip the towel in here and you just scrub. And because the material is synthetic for the most part, although that might be suede, you can just scrub. You don't have to worry about parts of the shoe getting solution on it. You do have to apply a bit of elbow grease. And this particular shoe is going to be tricky just because it's got so many nooks and crannies in it. But I'm already seeing, look, you already see the difference. The synthetic shoes are nice because when you build up a big head of foam here, you can just literally rinse it off in the sink. This is interesting. This is probably not the best shoe to illustrate this with, because I didn't realize, I think this speckling on it is actually part of the original coloration. I think that's built in. That's a feature and not a flaw. But these white parts, you can see, those are pure white now. That was the same color as this doo-doo brown before. So the actual soles of the shoes, you don't have to get them immaculate. Sometimes you can just rinse them off, that's adequate, or you can just give them a quick scrub. This is going to be the grossest part. If you have a nice pair of shoes and there's stuff wedged in here in the sole, like little rocks or bits of grime, these long stem Q-tips are a good investment. You just take the butt end of it, wedge it in there, and pop the stuff out. Be careful of where it lands. But these are a great thing to invest in. Also, if you wind up using edge dressing for dress shoes, which it's like dye that you use along the edge here. So this is the edge, and you can get a bottle of dye to make it darker, improve the quality of the shoe a little bit. This works much better than the applicator that comes in the bottle itself. You can just paint it on like that. And it's the same process for the uppers as it is for the soles and the midsoles. Assuming it is not leather, just scrub. A good tip is to look at the tongue, because this can trap a lot of dirt and grime right on top of the tongue that you won't notice. Also, for some reason, the lace area tends to accumulate a lot of dirt and grime. And then you can just go over, spot clean if you find problem areas. Remember that after you clean it, The second you get it under your fluorescent photo lights is when you're going to discover stuff that you missed. So it's good to be really meticulous when you're looking the shoe over before you declare it clean. Okay, so this one's basically clean. You can tell just even in this bad light, this is the one that I just cleaned, this is the one that I haven't. Pretty noticeable difference there. Definitely tell there's a pretty big difference. You don't have to rinse off the whole shoe. If you just use a little bit of the solution on the uppers, it's fine to let it dry without rinsing it off. It'll look just fine. And it won't get sticky or anything like that. That's both shoes cleaned. Big improvement. Just took a couple minutes to do that. And when you're done with a pair of shoes, what I typically do is just put them on the bathroom floor to dry. Show you that one more time. Here's my pair of running shoes. This is going to be more typical of what a midsole, dirty midsole is going to look like before and after. They're pretty grimy, and they don't have any of that speckling modeling design on them. Okay, so look at that side versus that side. You're not really going to get pure white. If you want a pure white midsole, that's a more advanced process. It involves, I think, bleach. We're wrapping the stuff in cellophane, leaving it out in the sunlight for 48 hours. Pretty complicated processes. If you have really expensive shoes with white midsoles, then that's worth researching online how to do it right, because I don't really know. This process just gets them to the point where they're not embarrassing to list online, where the condition is generally pretty good and you're not going to undermine your sales by having dirty shoes. And the uppers don't really need cleaning, but I'll show you anyway. You just get it more damp than anything. There, it's basically a clean shoe. Sneakers are easy. Synthetic shoes are really easy. Leather shoes are a little bit more challenging. The big note here is this solution, you have to dump it. You have to use just straight cleaner, and I advise you don't use that much of it. The point there is leather gets water damaged, so I think you can actually see some of it. No, maybe not. If you put water on leather, it can damage the quality of the leather. You can develop little stains and spots. So I just take straight cleaner, pour a little bit of it in here, and I just dab it. I certainly don't wash the shoe off as part of the process. So I'll show you. This isn't necessarily that dirty of a shoe, but you just kind of the same deal, and that'll dry off. It won't hurt the shoe. I'm not drenching the shoe in the solution. This is just removing the dirt and the grime. Same as with sneakers, it's good to spot clean. So if you can see, there's a little smudge there. Looks like we got most of it. These are cleaned. When they dry out completely, the change will not be as dramatic as it was with those sneakers with the really dirty midsoles. Those midsoles on sneakers are the most important part because they're big, they're light colored, and it's really conspicuous when they're dirty. Dress shoes, leather shoes, not as much. The dirt issue isn't as big of a deal, but that if you find blemishes on the shoes, sometimes this Angelus cleaning process can remove them. Also, it's good to give them a once over with the Angelus before you polish them, before you apply more products to them, because it removes a layer of dirt and grime that can interfere with the consistency of the polish and the other shoe care products. I'll wind up with a bunch of pairs of shoes sitting on my bathroom floor, and once they're completely dry, I will put them in my photo setup and discover all of the things that I missed and have to do it all over again, which is fun. So be meticulous when you're cleaning and have an eagle eye for spots, because it's very frustrating to have to do everything a second time. This stuff isn't dirt cheap, but if you stretch it out, if you use it wisely, it's definitely worth the investment. So the shoes are done. Very important step in the process. Spray everything down, clean it up, make it pretty again. Also, I will soak the rag that I used and wring it out, and a lot of dirt is coming out there. Just soak it, wring it, let it dry, and reuse it for this purpose only. The towel itself does not have to be immaculately clean at all. If you're doing a really big batch of shoes, I recommend using latex gloves, because this cleaner is probably not good to have on your skin for long periods of time, and it gives it like that soapy, gross feeling after a while of your skin dissolving, which is not a good feeling. So probably good to use those anyway. I just happen to not have any. So yeah, just be sure to spray, clean, get everything back up to spec after you're done. So I hope that this helps. I know it's kind of a simple process, but those are the kinds of processes that I like.